Hi guys, I am Tatiana from the Butler Sanz Polo Family, and today I want to tell you about my worst flying experience ever, and it was with my daughter Antonella. I hope that by sharing my story, you can avoid making the same mistakes that I did, and by the end of the video, I want to share some tips that have saved our lives. Antonella was born in Mexico 6 weeks before our flight by emergency C-section. I was given okay by the doctor to walk long distances, but I couldn't carry much weight to avoid tearing my scar. We were planning on bringing her to England so that Sam's family could meet her. Unfortunately, Sam's grandmother passed away just 1 month after Antonella was born. Sam's dad was living in Australia at the time, and he flew to England so that he could be at his mom's funeral. This sad incident gave us a perfect opportunity for everyone to meet Antonella. We didn't think it was the best idea to bring her to the funeral. We didn't think it was appropriate. And because Sam had previous commitments in England, he flew ahead of us, and 5 days later we were supposed to meet him. We needed to find a cheap way to get there. So we flew from Mexico City to Cancun, then we had a 10-hour layover there, then from Cancun to Gatwick. From there we took a 45-minute train to central London, and then we waited a couple of hours to finally take a 2-hour train to York, where Sam's family is from. We left our home in Mexico City at 4 in the morning. Then we took a very early flight to Cancun, where we spent the entire day with my beloved friends who live there. When they dropped us back at the airport, I did a check-in, everything was fine, went through security, and everything seemed alright. I even got to the plane and gate-checked the pram. Nobody said anything. The cabin crew were very helpful, and one of them carry my bags to our seat. Antonella's nappy bag weighed 7 kilos and my backpack was at 5 kilos. We got to our seat and there was a lady in the seat next to ours, and she was a bit tipsy, so she freaked out because she didn't want to fly with a baby. So she decided to upgrade. And this was good because it gave us an extra seat where Antonella slept for most of the flight. I have a slight intolerance to gluten, and when Sam booked the flight, he was trying to take care of me, so he asked for a gluten-free meal. And this is what I got: a banana, a gluten-free bread, Marmite, and butter. This was the only meal that they gave me through the entirety of the flight. It was a 9.5-hour flight. After we landed, the other passengers were offering me help. They wanted to help me carrying the bags so that I could carry my daughter, and thinking back to it, I should have absolutely accepted their help. However, I didn't want to trouble them at the time, and I really thought that my pram was going to be just waiting for me outside the plane. Everyone left, and I was the only one with my daughter, and the same cabin crew who helped me get my bags in helped me get my bags out. I went out of the plane and looked around, and my pram was not there. I was in complete shock when they were like, no, you get your pram in luggage reclaim because those are the rules of the airport, those are the policies. And I was really asking for help, but they couldn't help me because they were not insured. There was a particular member of ground crew, a woman who I could sense the joy that it brought her to not help me. I was in despair. I was begging her to help me. I told her about my C-section, about not being able to carry, and her words were, well, then you shouldn't have traveled, love. She called me love. I asked if I could be taken in a wheelchair or in one of these cars that transport people, and they said no, because it's a matter of health and safety. You cannot transport people carrying babies, because if something happens and the baby falls, they are not insured. I didn't know what to do, so I called Sam, and I was asking for help, and he did a quick Google search and realized that there were some prams that were for free to use at Gatwick Airport. And I asked the same lady for, like, where could I find them, or if she could bring one to me. And she said that I would be lucky if I find one. And then she looked over and said, oh, look, there's one over there, but I think it's broken. And she didn't bring it to me. I had to go get it. It was in fact broken, and these prams are not designed for 1-month-old babies. So I tried to put my bags on the pram, but it kind of didn't work. I was trying to put them there and pull the pram and carry Antonella. I didn't have a sling at the time. I didn't think I need one. So everything became very difficult. And these people carriers, just like 2 of them drove past me, and they just looked at me, you know. What I ended up doing was using the carabiner of my pram that I took with me into the plane. I attached both of the bags to it and just pulled it while I was holding Antonella. And people were just passing me by, and nobody offered help. They just passed me by. Out of the blue, when I was just about to lose all faith in humanity, this girl comes to me. She must have been 20 years old, American, and she said to me, don't worry, I'm here, I'm gonna help you. And she carried my bags and helped me get through immigration, customs, and all the way to baggage reclaim, where thankfully my pram was there. I must have thanked her like 20 times, and if she sees this, I wish she sees this. Thank you so much for saving me. Like, at this point, it was more than 24 hours of not sleeping, not eating properly, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. And I still had like a lot to go. But it was easier because I had my pram. So I pushed the pram with one hand, and the nappy bag was somewhere in the pram at this point. I put my backpack on top of my luggage, my suitcase, and I just pushed both of them. I had to get the suitcase and the pram in a train from Gatwick to St. Pancras. I got to St. Pancras, then I had to come out of the station, cross the street, and go to King's Cross, where I had a few hours to kill. The final leg was this train that took 2 hours from King's Cross to York. I really struggled staying awake, and I held on to my daughter so tight, and I was really scared of losing my grip on her when I fell asleep. So I was really trying to stay awake. When we got there, I saw Sam, and he was waiting for us with a big smile. And at that point, after feeling so alone during this trip, I finally knew that I was not alone anymore. This was my horror story, but out of the 22 trips that we've taken so far, it has been the only one. Everything else has been very smooth. So without further ado, here are our tips for having a very smooth and hassle-free flight. Try to always find out where your pram is going to be given back to you. Either ask the airport or the airline or Google it. When flying with children, especially babies and toddlers, try to be as direct as possible. You won't always be able to do that, but in that case, just give yourself plenty of time in every layover. You don't want to be rushing. Try to always fly with your partner or someone else that can help you. Pack your carry-on efficiently, just what you need, and 2 spares, no more. Just bring 1 carry-on. No matter if you and the baby each get 1 piece of luggage, just try to fit everything into 1. And most importantly, always bring a sling. Thank you for watching. I hope that this video was helpful to you, and please like and subscribe to the channel and comment. We would like to get to know you more. Tell us about your worst travel experiences, or if you have any more tips that can help us fly without any hassle.